in this particular country. And we need to trust people, that 1.7 trillion. We need to trust politicians. I said we can't have trust in politicians in the same sentence. So we need to counterbalance. We need to counterbalance with really viable opposition politics, so that if you mess up, you will be replaced. And that's going to keep their focus on us, won't it?
Because power corrupts. And we've got an excellent judicial system, but it's taking too long. Our courts are too full. So we need to deal with that.
And the law is an ass. You're a lawyer.
This is true.
It's taking too long to catch up.
It does take long.
Janine Myburgh, Legal Practice Counsel. Business is tackling homelessness. It's an impossible task. What are you even trying to achieve?
Well, a month ago when I said yes that I would sleep in the street tomorrow night, I thought it was an excellent idea. Now I'm slightly apprehensive. But the idea is to create an awareness to the plight of the homeless. You and I know Cape Town winters are extremely cold. If my sleeping out in the street one night could get someone off the street, then I would have achieved what I wanted to achieve. And by partnering with U-Turn, they have upskilled the people, they give them accommodation, and they give them therapy, because it's futile just removing someone from the street. There is normally a challenge behind the fact that they are on the street. And the Legal Practice Council currently has legislation implemented where all legal practitioners, that includes attorneys and advocates, are to do 40 hours of community service or pro bono work. And we are reaching out to say that if there are of these people that need legal services, our doors are open. But legal practitioners are part of society. And if society is suffering, if people are on the street, then everybody's suffering. And we should not leave it in the hands of the politicians. We should make a difference. So if this sleeping on the street for one night creates an awareness, because let's be honest, you drive past someone begging and you've become so blasé about it, we don't really do anything about it, or we give some change and we feel we've done our bit. But the idea of me doing this on behalf of the Legal Practice Council is to create a greater awareness of the plight of the homeless.
Okay, so you're going to be sleeping out tomorrow night, and you're hoping in the process, for those that are participating, you're going to spawn some empathy, which is really the start of engaging this particular issue, is it not?
More than empathy, I want to spawn action. I think everybody's got empathy. There's not a lack of empathy here. We want action.
Well, the way we look at homeless people at the robots, I don't think necessarily we have that much empathy going around in the city.
We have to start public-private partnerships. We have to start doing something because even if the more people we see on the street, the more we see the decline of our economy, and that affects the entire country. So it's in our best interest to do something proactively.
Yeah. It's the horse and the cart situation. We're dealing with a symptom, aren't we? Homelessness.
Yes, and that's why the U-Turn Ministries are such an excellent NPO, and I'm sure there's many more, who deals with not only the symptom, but the cause. They give therapy, they give skills, because it's, as I've mentioned...
I'm saying the cause is a lackluster economy.
Yes.
We're not creating jobs.
Yes.
And there's too much inequality. Those are the causes.
And it's sad that your previous speaker spoke earlier. We're coming up to elections and we've still got inequality. We've still got people that don't have bathrooms or toilets. We've still got people sleeping on the street. So it's no matter what party you support. That shouldn't happen when we've got a true democracy.
No, for sure. It's also not unique a problem to South Africa. If you look at major urban centres in the world, there's a lot of urbanisation, people just going there in search of jobs, of opportunities, and there's not enough to go around. So somewhere, something's going to have to give.
That's true, and that's why we have to be innovative. We have got intellectual minds in South Africa. We have to have people sitting down to address these issues. The innovation has to find a solution. We're not going to solve the problem entirely, but to make inroads in people sleeping on the street is a start.
I want to understand the action that you're seeking to spawn. Again, is it directed at the symptom, which is homelessness, or the causes of it?
I think it's initially it's the symptom, to create an awareness, but you can't deal with the symptom if you can't deal with the cause. You have to deal with it holistically.
Yeah, otherwise you're chasing your tail.
Yes, and it's creating an awareness. And if this position I hold can create an awareness, then I have a responsibility to ensure that I do.
Okay, so for what will a night on the streets for you tomorrow night entail?
Very scary. The first question I asked was, where do you go to the bathroom? Because that was rather challenging. I'm supposed to take my own bedding and blankets, and that's all I know. So it's, as I said, a month ago when I said I thought it was a good idea, now I'm not too sure. As you can hear, I sound like a frog. And I've got
you're going to catch something on that.
Well, I've already got bronchitis, and
watch out for pneumonia.
I hope my doctor's not listening. But the people that on the street don't decide when they're ill to go and sleep somewhere else. So I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the people that have to sleep on the street.
It's going to be misty out there tomorrow. A little bit of wind as well. No, actually, it's not going to be a lot of wind. I was on the streets of Cape Town last night. It was a beautiful night. I can't believe it's winter, and it was so wonderful.
Okay, well, I hope tomorrow night's also wonderful.
Yeah, there's going to be some mist. That's about it from 3 o'clock.
Well, I hope my hair doesn't mince.
Look at you. Got what bronchitis you worried about your hair. A low of 13 degrees. It gets much worse than that in winter. So it's not even going to be a complete sense of what it's like on the streets.
No, and I've got the opportunity. I've already planned. I'm wearing 3 pairs of pantyhose, 2 pairs of socks, polo neck, Spencers, and jackets. So I'm going to look like an Oros man. But the normal person who sleeps on the street doesn't have that opportunity. So it's going to be just a little bit of an insight into it. But the main aim is to create an awareness of the plight so that we can do something constructive.
Okay, the event is in collaboration with BMW Constantia. It's going to bring together business leaders like Janine Myburgh, my guest, legal practice counsel she is representing. And they're going to sleep on the pavement in Claremont. The initiative aims to shed light on the pressing issue of homelessness while raising crucial funds to support U-Turn's efforts. Now, U-Turn has proven efficacy in terms of their response to this growing problem that we have in the streets, and they cannot be over-resourced as far as I'm concerned. Do you share that view on this organization?
Well, I spoke to them earlier this morning, and I was quite interested to find out that the track record, that they said that they are able to monitor it and that they don't have a relapse rate. But any organization that supports the homeless is something that should be supported, because I don't believe that you should be handing out money at the streets. We often do that to soothe our conscience, but we don't know where that goes. It can go for drugs, it can go for glue. We should invest in the structures that are there to try and alleviate the scourge that we deal with.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, in fact, that they need to sleep on the streets. And I know there's some shelters that have been built, that have come, new ones that have come into place, but they are not enough.
No.
And the needs are growing.
Yes.
So what can we do to relieve winter, sleeping on the streets of Cape Town on a wet, cold, miserable, windy winter's night?
To find out, first of all, why the people are there and deal with why they are there. It's often with depression or alcohol or drug addiction. So you have to find out why they're there to be able to remove them from there, because it's futile taking them off the street and they go back the next day.
I think that's what we don't understand. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Each and every person on that street has got a story to tell, and fascinating stories. There was a time when I would walk through Cape Town Gardens in the middle of the night and just talk to anybody who's sleeping there. And I met interesting people. I met authors. I met very interesting people down and out, sleeping on the streets of Cape Town. People's stories to tell. And probably in some cases people with families that they can go back to. issues that they can reconcile.
Very much so, but it's often an embarrassment and an addiction. So it's an emotional challenge that also has to be addressed. And U-Turn gives the therapy and walks the path with the people. But as in society, everybody you come across has their own baggage and their own cross to bear. We deal with it differently. So it has to be you have to find out what the cause is, the therapy, and walk a path with these people. It's not just taking them off the street and the problem is solved.
Yeah, I know for sure. It's taken their hands. So ultimately, this is a message that you're sending to other business people in this particular city?
Yes, and all legal practitioners. We'd like to ensure that they contribute, especially on the evening. If they want to bring me a cup of hot chocolate, I'd be most appreciative. But if they bring blankets, if they bring tinned foods, as well as they can buy tickets on Quicket. And as you mentioned, it was at 215 Main Road, Claremont, where it will be taking place.
How are you with rats and mice?
I'm not particularly with them at all, and I'd rather avoid that. But thank you for the thought. I had not considered that option.
You didn't think about that?
No.
That's the first thing I'd consider.
No.
How many people are going to be sleeping outside on the streets?
I understand it's about 25 to 30. I don't have a clue who
else. And these
else.
are representatives of business that are going to...
Yes, I'm told business people, politicians. I don't have a clue.
Do you have like a brief? Can you bring a knertsie?
No, you can only bring your... Well, they didn't say you can't bring a knertsie. We were told to bring your bedding and your pillow.
That's it. Oh, you get your bedding. It's not as if you issued a cardboard box.
No, you must bring... I assume they're going to give us something. This is my first foray sleeping on the street.
I gather that. So you're not going to be taking your Egyptian cotton, are you?
No, but I do have a cardboard box, old TV box, which I am considering taking.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that can double up as a sleeping bag. Get inside of it. Well, fortunately, it's not going to be raining. There's going to be some mist about tomorrow night. Temperature around about 13 degrees. That looks like the low overnight. Hardly any wind. So it's not going to be the worst of nights that you can experience in a winter in Cape Town. But I think it's very important. It is very symbolic, and it is something that you've got to experience. I think to understand the life that, and a lot of people say people have chosen this life.
No.
They can unchoose the life.
I don't think so.
I think they can unchoose the life, but they need the love and the care to be able to make that choice. And I think that is the role that U-Turn plays. U-Turn Homeless Ministries. They enable people to make that decision to get off the streets. And they do it wonderfully. Thank you very much. And a suggestion is take a candle with you.
What's that for?
Load shedding.
But thank you for the thought of the rats and mites. I had not considered that. So another thing to put on my list of apprehension.
Janine Myburgh, I hope you get well soon. Legal Practice Council sleeping on the streets of Cape Town in support of U-Turn Homeless Ministries. Always
Thank you.
Good to see you. At 11:30 exactly, time for Eyewitness News headlines. Zufa Khan.